I was driving home. It was Christmas Eve. I was so delighted to be heading home for the holidays that I felt like nothing could put me into a bad mood. It was extremely foggy and ice cold, so when I saw a car pulled over on the side of the road with its blinkers on in the distance, I knew I had to help. Somebody with car trouble on Christmas Eve? I couldn't be an asshole and drive past. Anyway, as I approached, I saw a man get out of the car and wave to me. He must have sensed that I was going to pull in, as he had a big smile on his face, mixed with what I thought was relief. I realise now that that wasn't what it was exactly, but I'll get to that. I pulled in and asked him what the problem was and if I could help in any way. He thanked me profusely and said that the engine lights had come on and smoke had appeared under the hood. He didn't know what to do and wasn't too car aware, so he pulled in a panic. I told him that it was his lucky day, as I had been an apprentice mechanic in high school, so I asked him to pop the hood. He looked at me with a little bit of confusion on his face and then put his head in his hands. This went on for a couple of minutes, and I didn't know what was going on exactly, so I asked him awkwardly what the matter was, as it seemed a little weird and made me a bit uncomfortable when he started to tear up a little. "I'm sorry," he said. "I don't really know what you're talking about. I don't know how to pop the hood. I'm so sorry, I'm so shit with cars." I thought that this was weird, and should have flagged it right there and then. He had honestly never opened the hood of his car before. Anyways, I let it pass and told him that I would do it. I walked around to the driver's side of the car and opened the door. I took a glance inside to check where the lever was. I found it and bent down. I should tell you now, the road we were on was quite deserted at this point of the evening, it being Christmas Eve and all. Suddenly, I heard running footsteps out of nowhere from behind me. Before I could investigate, I felt the man push me into the car. I landed face down on the passenger seat, and I could feel him pushing me further in. And it was then that I also saw the glint of a pocket knife in the man's hands as he pushed me. I yelled, in the painful forced position that I found myself in, but it was no good. There was no one around. I knew I had to fight back with all of my might before the man started the car, or it was game over. The man seemed quite slight, so his strength surprised the hell out of me. I spent most of my life avoiding fights, so using my fists didn't come that natural to me, but I found myself hurling punches at the man, ferociously fighting to get out of the car. This surprised him, and luckily, he dropped the pocket knife. Using all of my strength, with my right hand, I pushed against him and leaned across and unlocked the door. It was automatic, obviously, so it unlocked the passenger door that I was at. The man went to grab me, just as I was turning to get myself out of the passenger door. But I was too quick for him. I pushed my whole body out the door and fell onto the ground. I could feel him scrambling behind me, so I in turn scrambled to get up onto my feet. It was at this point that I saw headlights coming towards me from the distance, and I knew that I was going to be okay. With the passenger door still open, the man started the car and hurtled up the road. I was shaking, and I could barely see from the sweat in my eyes. I waved down the car. Actually, I don't think I really needed to. I think the guy in the car that was coming could see how in distress I was. He pulled over, sat me down on the side of the road, and put a blanket around me. We called the police together, and I explained to the officer what had happened. I'm so upset that to this day, I didn't even think or attempt to get the registration number. I didn't know what the man was planning, but I was just glad that I was alive. Merry Christmas to me.